Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, aka Invinci-Paul, and this video we're breaking down everything you need to know about Omni-Man. The Superman-inspired Man of Steel Your Planet is making a big impact on Amazon's new show Invincible, and in this video we're going to be breaking down everything you need to know about his origins and powers. There will be full spoilers from the comics here, and if you haven't had a chance to check them out yet, then I highly recommend that you check yourself and check out now. If you stick around and enjoy the video, then please click the thumbs up button and make sure you subscribe for breakdowns like this each and every day. With that out of the way, thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into Omni-Man. Okay, so when we're first introduced to Omni-Man, we're led to believe that he's a protector of peace and justice. Though he looks like Henry Cavill before the effects were added to him in Josstice League, the pair are actually very different when it comes to morals. Under the name Nolan Grayson, he's become a best-selling author that also operates as a superhero. Issue 2 of the comic run centers around his apparent origin story, in which he tells his son Mark of the planet Viltrum, and we learn of a story that is likely told to every planet that the Viltrumites visit. According to Omni-Man, Viltrum is a cool blue oasis planet much like Earth that exists billions of miles away from our solar system. The population, though similar to humans in appearance, have several abilities that we do not possess. By our standards, they all wield super strength and can move at super speed. Living their highly advanced #best life has had its benefits, and because of this, Viltrum has apparently achieved perfection. Omni-Man, or rather Nolan, tells us that because of this, the planet is somewhat of a utopia, and there exists no murder or war. With no conflict to tackle, the High Council refused to let their society become complacent, and they sent out their people into the stars in order to help other planets develop to their level of perfection. This was a process carried out by the World Betterment Committee, which Nolan became a part of. The mission was to boldly go where no one had gone before, and seek out planets at a crucial stage of development. These were ones that had potential for greatness, rather than ones that were too far along to the point that their outcome was decided. According to Nolan, a team of scientists would travel to a planet's surface and help the inhabitants to improve in every single way. Nolan came across Earth, but this was deemed too crude to be added to the betterment schedule, and thus he decided to volunteer to be Earth's sole protector. Quickly it became his second home. He met Mark's mother Debbie, and the pair settled down and had a kid. Nolan adopted the moniker of Omni-Man and apparently became the best of us, a guy that would never spoil anything. That is, of course, until he revealed his true mission, which went down worse than Joss Whedon at a feminist rally. Now Nolan revealed that, though Viltrum had achieved perfection, this wasn't done through being nice, and the higher ups of the planet decided that the weak should be destroyed in order to obtain intergalactic dominance. After the population of the planet was halved, the Council of Viltrum decided that they would bring their new world order to all those in the galaxy, and in doing so they would create a galactic empire that would make even Emperor Palpatine realize that Sith had hit the fan, hey? Having that now, from here, the World Conquering Committee travelled through the universe, finding planets that had the potential for greatness and were worth conquering, but also ones who hadn't developed their defences to the point that they would pose any threat. And thus, the Viltrumites worked throughout the universe, slowly reshaping it in their image. They enlisted the forces of the planets they'd conquered into their ranks, and those that refused were wiped out. An army of slaves was created, and this process went on for millennia, completely uninterrupted. It became civil duty for citizens to join the committee, and Nolan signed up, throwing himself into his work. He crushed and conquered his way through the universe, and quickly rose through the ranks. However, Viltrum reached the point where its forces were stretched too thin, and thus the Viltrumites devised a new plan. Rather than conquering worlds, they would send somewhat of a Trojan horse onto a planet. Certain soldiers would be selected to assimilate with the natives and become a member of their society, which Nolan was handpicked to do on Earth. Nolan started to slip into this society, and during this time he married Deborah, whom he viewed as somewhat of a pet rather than an equal. He assumed the position of Earth's protector, and quickly realized that several other alien species were trying to invade the planet too. Thus he destroyed them so that the Viltrumites would face no other resistance than the humans, and slowly made the Earth reliant on his powers. Other heroes rose up, including the Guardians of the Globe, and though he never became a member, he worked closely alongside them whilst he raised his son. Eventually he realised that they were becoming too powerful, and made his move in a completely brutal scene that we see played out in the show. Nolan called them together and ambushed the group, completely destroying them one by one, like I'm gonna do to anyone who thumbs down this video. I want to see you hitting that thumbs up like your bloody Red Rush, like your life depends on it. Now this left a vacuum of power on the world that his son Mark, aka Invincible, quickly slotted into. Nolan expected his son to join his side in helping him to invade the planet, but Mark resisted, and thus the two went head to head. Nolan completely decimated the boy, but just as he was about to kill him, Mark said that he will always have a father, and rather than murdering him where he lay, he flew off into space. From this point onwards, Nolan tried to invade other planets in order to appease the Viltrumite Empire, and he has quite a long arc that we will no doubt be going over in the series. Nolan has a very complicated run in which he jumps back and forth between being a hero and villain, but he's just such a fascinating character to watch. I can't wait to see it play out. Now to make things even more complex, the multiverse exists within Invincible, and there are several points in which we visit a nightmare-esque timeline where Nolan and his son teamed up. They completely ravage the planet, and the glimpses that we get at these moments are absolutely terrifying. Now as for his powers, Nolan has very similar abilities to Superman. He is by far the strongest hero on Earth, and this has made it so that he can completely dominate every fight that he's a part of. A lot of the time he ends up holding back, and even in his battle with the Guardians of the Globe, he isn't fighting as hard as he could. Nolan can move at super speed, and he too possesses super stamina. Viltrumites don't build up things like lactic acid, and thus the character doesn't really ever get tired or exhausted. All Viltrumites can fly, and also journey through space without breathing apparatus, which is something that Mark, due to being half human, has to have. In general, Viltrumites have huge lung capacities, and they can hold their breath for up to 2 weeks. Now as shown in Mark, they are able to bear children with other species. Due to their dominant genes, these often overpower anything that a human has, and thus all their kids tend to take on the majority of their powers. One of the most interesting things about the Viltrumites is that they actually age slower the older they get. Upon reaching maturity, everything about them slows down, so that their bodies can remain at peak physical perfection for as long as possible. This means that it's almost impossible to know Nolan's true age, and due to time dilation in space, he could have existed for what we would class as millennia on Earth. Now though they seem perfect, they do have one big weakness. The Viltrumites are able to fly using the equilibrium in their ears, but if this is disturbed by a certain frequency, it can cause immense pain. If you manage to find the brown note, not the brown note, but one of them I'm guessing, it overwhelms them to the point that they become incapacitated, and long exposure to this can cause death. Either way, Omni-Man is a completely fascinating character, and one of the best spins on Superman that I've ever seen. Can't wait to see what they do in the show, and it's going to be great to watch this classic comic play out on screen. Now obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts on the character and what you think will happen in the series. Comment below and let me know, and as a thank you for interacting with the video, you'll be entered into a prize draw on the 31st of March in which we're giving away 3 copies of a Marvel 4K box set of your choice. All you have to do to be on the chance of winning is like the video, make sure you subscribe with notifications on, and drop a comment below with your thoughts on the character. The winners of last month's competition are on screen right now, so if that's you then message me on Twitter at HeavySpoilers. If you want something else to watch, then make sure you check out our breakdown of the first 3 episodes, which will be linked on screen right now. We've gone over each one of them from top to bottom, so it's definitely worth checking out if you want to know more. Out of the way, thank you for sitting through the video. I've been Paul, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.